Good afternoon, everybody. How are you today? How has your day been? Hey, look, this afternoon, I told you we're doing pie week this week. So this afternoon, I'm showing you another type of pie, and this one is done with phyllo pastry. Unfortunately, I forgot to take it out of the fridge early, so just bear with me while I show you some shortcuts today and hints and tips for doing so. Now, I've put it in my meal planner. It's on Cookie Do. This is a beautiful recipe, and another one that's quite quick. It's called pumpkin feta and caramelized onion. So the first thing we're going to do is it's going to say preheat your oven. Okay, that's for cooking later. Line with a baking tray with baking paper and set aside. So it depends what you want to make this in. I'm going to make it in my beautiful flange that I used last night. I'm going to use the same one. I've got baking paper there. Normally I'd get you to grease it with the baking paper, don't worry. And then it asks you to layer 8 sheets of your phyllo. I'm going to come back and do the layering step, and I want you to as well when you're doing the cook off of the onion. You've got 9 minutes spare, do it then. Okay, so consolidate your time, work really smart in that time. Allow the pastry to overhang, and here we go. So now we're in the recipe. We want 170 grams of purple onion quartered. It is important to be purple onion in this recipe. I think brown wouldn't have the same effect. 120, that'll do. Okay, some oil to cook it off with. Say hi if you're watching today. I'd love to know you're on. If you're in Brisbane, has the storm hit yet? It hasn't quite arrived here yet. Although in saying that, Mount Cotton, it normally goes all the way around. Okay, on with, no, not quite on with the lid. We've got balsamic vinegar first. This is a beautiful cooked off onion. It's just caramelized. It's absolutely beautiful. And it doesn't use high heat, unusually. So this recipe was designed before we had the TN6. So it just uses Varoma. I was actually going to show you how to translate it over to the high heat today, but ran out of time with that, trying to defrost my phyllo pastry in speedy time in the last 20 minutes rather than all day like it should have been. Hello, ladies. Hey, Sharon. Hey, Carissa. And hey, Chris. Lovely to have you on this afternoon. Of brown sugar. I hope my internet holds out with this lightning as well. Let's see how we go. 10 grams of brown sugar. I'm using my rice, not my rice malt today, my monk fruit sweetener, my low carb sweetener, instead of using brown sugar. But you can just use brown sugar, or you know what, you could use raw sugar. It would work perfectly fine as well. So this is what's going to make it nice and sticky and caramelized, right? All right, on 1 garlic clove. I'm using garlic. I'm cheating, okay? Thermomix Consulting Confession 101. I'm using crushed garlic from the local IGA at the moment, just because I'm taking shortcuts because life is busy, and I will get around to making garlic paste again soon. It just hasn't happened at the moment. So approximately 1 clove of garlic worth, in that goes, and some salt. And then it's going to cook off for 9 minutes, so it's going to be absolutely amazing. Where is my salt? It's all right. If all else fails, use the very, very, very large container of salt off the back. So 2 pinches of salt. Don't use veggie stock in this case. You know how normally I'd say use veggie stock for everything? Not in this case, okay? It's just it's going to be this beautiful caramelized balsamic onion cooked off thing. No need for veggie stock. And this recipe actually doesn't call for any, I don't think. So let's keep going. And set the measuring cup. Then it's going to chop speed 4 for 6 seconds. Okay, next up, let's see. Hello, Christine. Lovely to have you on this afternoon as well. Scrape down the sides with a spatula. I'll just show you that chop. It's a very loose chop in there. You'll see it's not very combined. It does want you to push it down though, so that you get it nice and cooked off, because if it's up the sides, it's not going to really cook off. It's going to more sweat off, which we don't want. So I am unusually pushing down the sides this afternoon. All right, on with our lid. And this is going to cook for 9 minutes, which is your perfect time for those of you who are cooking along to this later. It's your perfect time to slice up your pumpkin. You want 550 grams of pumpkin, and it says sliced in 1 centimetre cubes. Mine are roughly 1 centimetre. Some might be closer to 2 centimetres. But this is going to get roasted off in your oven. So yes, you could even do this earlier. You could pre-make this, or maybe you're doing it the night before. If you're doing, roast veggies for dinner, you could be putting this in the oven at the same time. It's going to be one of the next steps in a moment. So while this is cooking though, prepping those pumpkins, you will need some spinach, some pepper, some salt, some pumpkin, and some honey, which I'm going to use rice malt later, so you'll be wanting to grab those ingredients out, a couple of eggs, and then some tomatoes and stuff. But I want to come here and I want to show you how to do this phyllo stuff. Now I'm really hoping it has defrosted enough to be able to use it. It says to leave it out for 4 hours. Mine got about 24 minutes, maybe 14 minutes, from freezer to the oven, which was cooling a little bit. We just, the kids just made an Anzac slice, so I've put it there in the oven, and I'm hoping it might be flexible enough to use now. Let's see. So this says 8 sheets. Now I'm putting mine into a circular dish, and it says to brush them with butter. I have a shortcut, okay? There's not many times you will see me use spray oil, but today you're going to see me use spray oil. So what I want to do is I want to get my phyllo sheets. I'm just going to move Bernie out the way a bit. I need just a little bit more space in my pantry here. Let's see if I can get this open without cracking it. And I actually want, in this case, I'm going to use squares to make this beautiful pastry crust. Oh, the onions are getting me, guys. Onion fumes. Let me open the door. Oh, there we go. Door is open. Nothing like some fresh air. Look at my eyes, my goodness. All right. So I'm going to use it as squares. It comes out as a rectangle, but I, as mentioned, I'm going to use it as squares. So I'm just cutting it down. I'll keep the remaining for later. I could just cut 8 sheets, but I'm not going to worry. I'm just going to go all the way through. Actually, yeah, all the way through. Let's keep going. It'll be easier to deal with if I can get some of it off the bench out the way. You may have more space to work with it, and you might just want to cut the 8, but I really want to get rid of this bit out the way. Okay, so I've got half a little bit here that I can put aside. That's going to be yummy for later. This is beautiful to line things like your muffin containers. Just put that over there. And now I've got this portion here. Now I only need 8 sheets of this. So what we now do is, I've got this, I've got my baking paper underneath, and I'm going to put my first sheet on top. If I can get them apart, there they are. Okay, first sheet on top. Now if you've got a rectangular dish, you won't need to trim yours down like I did, okay? But I'm working with a circular dish. These onion fumes are terrible, my goodness. So I'm using the circular one. So I'm going to use squares, but I'm going to pivot each square. So here's my first layer. Never mind the butter, because that's a bit fiddly for my liking. I'm going to use spray oil. So this is just olive oil spray around the edges. Make sure you do get the edges. And then next layer. Now I'm going to turn my layer a little bit each time. So actually I'm going to start first of all with a complete 45-degree turn, if I can do it neatly enough. That'll do. It's not perfect, but anyway, that's okay. And then we're going to give it another spray. Now, I'm going to do 8 layers. Remember, we need to have enough space here for 8. Now, I want to know in the chat, have you guys seen this tip before about using your spray oil with your phyllo? I'd love to know, did you know that tip, or would you have used the butter as per recipe? Okay, here comes the next layer of phyllo. Now, I don't know that you can make phyllo in your Thermomix. I know someone's going to ask me this. I don't think you can. Why not? Because it's so thin, like it's like fabric. It is so incredibly thin. So I don't think that's something we could make in a Thermomix. I'm just trying to offset my squares from each other a little bit as I do this, so that I end up with layer upon layer. Okay, so that's the aim here, to end up with 8 that are offset from each other. And perfect time to do so when you've got your 9-minute cook time. Uh-oh, I think I've got a double layer here. I feel like this is a double. Uh-oh, I do have a double. Alright, let's see how this goes. Okay. Where am I going to put this one? Down this way? Okay, that must be 4. Half a layer. And it's important, look at that, 3 minutes to go, perfect timing. Here comes the next one. So let's have a look at the chat. Who has done it with butter before? And, ooh, puff pastry chilling. Very cool, that sounds yummy, Sharon. Okay, Here we go. You'll often find recipes that are low carb, well, not necessarily low carb, but low calorie, sorry. We'll often use phyllo. You'll see that there's little pastries and stuff you can make with phyllo because it has so little calories in phyllo. So it's not low carb though. So sorry if you're low carb. It's not low carb because it is still wheat based. So, but it is just such a light product that really doesn't have high calorie count. So I do remember once my mum used to make a recipe where you'd actually put chicken and Dijon mustard into the middle of your phyllo and wrap it up in a phyllo sheet, and it was beautiful, beautiful recipe. I'm wondering how many sheets I've done here. I feel like this might be 6. So we're just giving it a crust. Okay. 7. And one more. 2 minutes to go. Now remember, I'm building this on my baking paper. 2 things. It makes it easier to move, and it also makes it easier to get it out of the tray later. So, by the way, phyllo, for those of you who haven't used phyllo before, you'll find it in the freezer section. Okay, so it is in the freezer section. Okay, let's just put that aside. So now I've got my 8 layers on my baking paper. I can now put my tray down, and it doesn't have to be circular. You could be doing rectangular as well, okay? And we're just going to sit it in nicely into it. Now, I like doing it this way because it means I can tuck my top of the phyllo back over the top of my recipe later, and it gives me a bit of layering on top if I want as well. So I don't know if I'll be able to show you on camera what that looks like, but pretty much later on when everything's roasted off, I will put that in and then I will fold the sides in over the top. That's what that looks like. So we're nearly done on this step here. So isn't it a fantastic recipe that it consolidates things all into such a quick time? Now what I do need next is I'm going to send Toby, who's just arrived, out to get me a bowl. Can you get me a bowl, please? Because we're going to need to put our onion aside. It is nearly done. It has stopped making my eyes water, which is lovely. And next up, we're going to coat our pumpkin in our beautiful honey kind of mix, which I'm using the rice malt for. Thank you, buddy. So 50 seconds to go. Let's have a look at this chat box. It keeps moving off my screen. Oh, from the Netherlands. That is so cool, Suzanne. Welcome. I love that. My videos are going all over the world. How cool is that? So, Suzanne, I'd love to know, do you guys have the TM6 in the Netherlands? Or have you got the TM31 or TM5 or something else? I'd love to know what you guys have over there. That is so awesome. All right. 20 seconds to go. We're nearly done, nearly on the home stretch. So oven needs to be put on. Actually, just give me a second. I need to put my oven back on because I turned it off to chill the to warm the phyllo so it defrosted. So 2 seconds. All right, sorry about that, guys. Just realised. So I had speed defrosted the phyllo in the hot oven, but with the door open. All right, this is done. Transfer to a bowl and set aside. Here it comes. You can hear it sizzling. You can hear our red lights are on. It smells amazing and it looks pretty amazing too. Don't touch the bowl. It's super hot.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So, love cooking off these things in the Thermomix. I'm going to show you this in a minute. So once this has cooled a little bit, it will become the bottom of our tart. So it goes into the bottom and then your beautiful veggies go on top. So in that goes. And I'll show you now that it's in the bowl. You'll probably be able to see better. The lighting's better. Look at the colour. Isn't that absolutely amazing? All right. No, there's nothing in there at the moment. Okay, here's our pumpkin. 550 grams of pumpkin flesh, diced into 1 centimetre bits. 530 from me. That'll do. Okay, 15 grams of honey. I'm actually going to use the rice malt syrup so that my tummy likes it a bit better. So I'm just going to put that in, although 15 grams is super hard to keep to. Okay, if I can get the lid off, I'm going to put it in. Somebody's been using it with greasy hands, but it feels. Okay, 15 grams. All right. Some of you guys who are watching have been doing my online course at the moment, which has been so super exciting to watch and to see you guys try new recipes and learn new skills for your thermomixing. Well done to those of you. I think, Laura, you are the first one to finish the online course. Congratulations.
Yes, there is so much in there.
Yeah, they're all in that one. There is. Okay, so a pinch of salt. which is just here, nearly done. Now this is going to just coat the pumpkin so that the pumpkin then, if I can get the lid off the container, so that the pumpkin can go in the oven and get that really beautiful caramelization to it. This is all this job is here. Next, 2 pinches of pepper. Nope, can't find the pepper, we're going without. On with the lid. Where is it?
Oh, I don't know.
And it's just coating it on reverse, speed 2 for 10 seconds. Up there somewhere, look at that, is that the one? There you go, 5-year-old found a pepper for me. So now it's coated, transfer to the baking tray. And now it's going to cook off in the baking tray for 20 minutes. Meanwhile, arrange the onion mixed onto the pastry base. And just give me a second, I'm going to actually show you. I'm just going to put this aside in the container for the minute. Oh, the storm is rolling in at our house. This is just coated. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it just looks nice and glossy now. You can see that it's covered in that beautiful... Oh, I'll show you, hang on. Talk about little helpers. I used to go to demos to escape my little helpers. Still do, but you know. All right, keeping it real. Hey buddy, you're going to be in the way if you sit there. Can you move for me? Now let me show you the very last part of this recipe. It's actually such a quick recipe with some beautiful big chunks of time in it. So if you're hesitating making pies because of the time involved, hopefully yesterday and today's recipes have showed you that it's actually not that time heavy. All right, so 200 grams of baby spinach. So a fair amount of spinach. Let's do it this way. That'll do, 170. Okay, 40 grams of whipping cream. So you guys know, predominantly dairy free. So we're going to do coconut cream. You could be doing some yogurt. You certainly could do, what else could you do? Yogurt, creme fraiche, sour cream, all those sorts of things would work perfectly fine. Darling, you can't climb the bench. Stop. Nope, you're going to break something like my drawers. Climb down for me. That was a little heavy, it was 47, but that's okay. 2 eggs, this is your binder that will hold all the ingredients to the pie dish, to the base dish, yeah? Okay, on with my lid. And then, this is the last segment of the recipe. 12 seconds, speed 3. So it's kind of stirring that egg and spinach and everything together. And then, step you through the last few steps. Okay, so all we need to do now is you put the onion, which I'm going to leave out because I haven't got my pumpkin ready and it's hot. Remember, the enemy of pastry is actually heat. It will melt the contents of it and wreck the texture. So I'm going to leave this out for a little while. I'm going to put my pumpkin in the oven and I'm going to roast that for 20 minutes so it's really golden and beautiful and sweet. Then this goes in here. The egg mix and spinach mix goes on top, and then the pumpkin goes on top of that. And lastly, you want a half a dozen cherry tomatoes chopped in half and some feta to sprinkle over the top. And then it finishes in the oven. Oh, hang on. Brush the edges with egg. I'm going to spray it. I'm going to fold little edges in and I'm going to spray it. I will make sure the kids take a photo of it for you guys while I'm not here. And then it just browns for 10 minutes, which gives enough time for those 2 eggs to set, and it browns up the beautiful crust as well. And then eat up after that. So, oh, hang on, gone too fast. It cooks for another 15 minutes. So 10 minutes to brown up, 15 minutes to cook those eggs off. Can you stop, please, love? And then serve it hot. So that's it. We're going to serve it with a side of veggies tonight. It'll have broccoli and stuff on it. And that's dinner. That's another pie for your recipe collections. And if you've not tried this, give it a go. It is really fresh. I haven't done it in a good 12 months and I know that it was a winner last time, so I'm so excited tonight to give it a go again and see if the kids eat it, because in our house that's always the challenge, is getting the younger people in their home to eat it. We're pretty unpicky, but the kids on the other hand, interesting. So that's it from me tonight. Take care, guys, especially those of you in Brizzy with this storm. Please take care. Reach out if I can help you in any way with the Thermomix. If you've got friends and family thinking on the Thermomix, if you want more information about getting supported with your Thermomix, you want to talk recipes, those sorts of things, that's what I'm here for. And do share this page with your friends and family, because they might have Thermomixes and it might be a glorified soup maker or a cheese grater, and I don't want that for them and their Thermomixing, because there's so much our Thermomix can do. So I do hope you're inspired inspired to try new recipes through these videos. Alright, that's enough from me tonight. Take care, and I will see you back here tomorrow for another pie, because it is pie week. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.
You don't have any more pies to